Hello and welcome to the Don's channel. I am the Don Father. We're going to do a little bit of sports chat. I'm currently uploading my top 5 mini-series episode 1, which is AFL, Australian Rules Football. So it's the greatest players to ever play Australian Rules Football, as voted for by my followers, subscribers, viewers, etc. of the channel. Everyone that was picked was not my order. They were the order that were picked by the votes. So thanks very much for that. I'm not going to tell you who won or who came 5th, 4th, anything like that. You'll just have to wait and see the video. We're also going to be doing episode 2, which is either going to be, hey mate, episode 2 is either going to be NFL, NHL, Rugby League, Rugby Union, or NBA. So we've got 5 different things it could be for episode 2. I'm not too sure what it's going to be yet. So I need names for all them. Give me your top 5 in any of those sports. You leave a comment in the comment section to this video of who your top 5 is going to be on that. And I'll get into looking into... I'm not too sure what MBL is, mate. Well, I don't know what MBL is. Do you mean NBA? All right, Lucky, mate. How's it going, pal? Also, on the dawn of World Sports, I'm going to be doing Australia basketball. I don't know too much about it. I don't really know much about NBA, never mind NBL. NBA obviously is huge, so I'm not too sure how big the Australian basketball is, but I don't really know too much about it, to be honest with you. I don't know if it's well liked or what. I know that you have a basketball league, but I'm not too sure how enjoyed it is, if you like. All right, Mark, how you doing? The KB3450. Hello, Randy. Hello, everyone who's joining. So our sports videos, we've got loads of them coming up on both channels. Hi, Sally. I'm doing Peter Matera. I'm actually going to do him on the Don's channel, I think. I'll do Peter Matera on the Don's channel. I've got a rugby league player to cover on the Dawn of World Sports. I'm also doing NHL, a couple of NHL videos, the ice hockey. A lot of people requesting ice hockey, which is quite good to see. The good thing about me doing ice hockey is that it's a sport that I can really get into because it's so aggressive. They really beat the shit out of each other, and I really enjoy that. I really enjoy that, to tell you the truth. All right, Drew, mate, how you going? Fraser Gehrig, try the G train. What is the G train, Mark? Forgive me, I'm not too sure. I got absolutely no Avon from Santa, but I heard your house is coming down with it. The sad thing about that is, though, Dylan, I actually also heard you went and bought it for yourself. That's really worrying. That's really, really worrying, Dylan, mate. Nobody goes and buys themselves Avon. Actually, nobody even receives Avon. Serious note, like, who the hell would go buy themselves it? So what you've done is really, really sad, mate, for want of a better word. You got the deluxe Avon pack. I don't know where to begin with that comment. The G Train, Fraser Gehrig. That must be his nickname. I've got you now. I thought you were talking about something. I'm not a different sport or something there. Fraser Gehrig. I'll certainly look into him for you, mate. For anybody just joining, I've got good news. I've literally recorded my first episode of my top 5 greatest player series that I'm doing. So AFL's been the first episode. All the players were picked from you, and then I've put them into the top 5, and you've also picked the top 5 in the order. So, as I say, none of them are my selection, although I would have picked a couple of the players myself, of the greatest players ever to play Australian rules football. They're not picked from no, they're not picked by me. They're picked from the viewers and subscribers of both channels. So do stay tuned for that. I'll try and get that edited up. I'm going to try and do a real good job of that one and get that done in the next couple of days. If I can get it done the day, I'll be in well. But I've got a couple of reaction videos I want to do as well. I'm really looking forward to launching this top 5 mini-series. I think it's going to be quite good. And as I say, some unbelievable players on that. My hands are so smooth. The big carpet snake, Gary Vaughan. Lucky, mate. I'm sure you'll be entered. Don't worry about that. If not, just go into that video again and just write done. The rules, the ways to enter was to first and foremost subscribe to the channel, then share the channel and that video, share that video to encourage other people to join. Then you write done. I'm sure that's what it was. The way to enter was actually put down in the video, so just check back. I can't even remember myself. But if you do those steps and just write done, then I know you're entered and don't worry about it. But I'm trying to get the numbers to 100,000 as quickly as possible so we can get the giveaway done as quickly as possible. Plus, I'll have 100,000 subscribers and get that silver plaque. I'm not going to lie, I really want one of those. So let's make it happen, please. Hashtag 100K the Don's channel. Sweet. It's all right, mate. What I will say is it's not going to be drawn until we've reached 100,000, and then on that video you have to have wrote done on that video for me to go through. So the only way to enter it correctly is by writing done on that video, the 100,000 subscriber video that I've done for the giveaway video itself. That is the only way to enter. So people who's maybe writing done on social media platforms, as much as I appreciate you sharing that and stuff, I might miss you. I might miss you on the thing when I'm going through that video and putting your names down. So do check out the proper way to announce it. So it won't be announced until I've reached 100,000 subscribers. I think we're sitting at around 75,500. I'm hoping to get that number up quickly. So yeah, I need everybody's help for that. You need to share the channel with your friends and family, encourage them to subscribe, encourage them to join the giveaway as well. I mean, what the hell? You're going to get a whole load of stuff for free. Why wouldn't you join? Why wouldn't you enter? Got a brand new mic. I don't know. Is it working all right? Does that sound louder when I talk into that? Let me know if that mic sounds louder. Lucky, mate. I'm sure you're entered. I wouldn't worry about that. I'll remember now anyway because you spoke to me about it. Thoughts on the NRL? Yeah, well, look, I've done a lot more AFL. I've got a lot of AFL people following my channel. Sorry. Muffled when you talk too close. Is it clear right now, though? Is the audio clear right now? It's the first time I've ever used it for a live stream. So I've done more AFL. I've got a lot more people supporting the channels from. Yeah, it's good. Thanks very much. Could be a little bit closer. Maybe it's probably because it's behind me a little bit. Sounds good. Thanks very much. Dave Crushins, I love your comment. Don, the Don legend, love his channel, you Scottish twat, laughing out loud, go the Crows. Thanks very much, mate. Really appreciate it. I like you. Oh, thanks very much, mate. Appreciated. So what was I going to say? So NRL, yeah, I've done a few videos on the Dawn of World Sports. I quite enjoy doing the big hits videos. Rugby league is actually quite big in the UK, particularly the north of England. So I'm quite familiar with rugby league anyway, although I know the NRL is the biggest league for rugby league in the world. So it's up there. I mean, you've got that Barassi line that splits Australia in two for your AFL, your Australian rules football, and then your rugby league. If I was picking between the two, basing it on the fact that if I was an Australian and I was picking between the two, I would probably have a lot more of a soft spot for the AFL, based on the fact that it's an Australian sport. Rugby league is a British sport. I'd imagine there's the rules that have been implied from all over the place over the years. NRL's probably got their own way of doing things to the Super League in England. But all that being said, rugby is a British sport, isn't it? It came from England. So if I was an Australian, I would definitely like AFL more. I actually like the speed of Aussie rules. I think I like the fact that it's just fluent. There's the goals, there's constant goals, there's something always happening. I think it's just a lot more entertaining to watch. But that being said, I do appreciate how physically hard a sport rugby league is. It's an incredibly tough sport, and it's definitely better than union. Union is for the posh twats. The people who have probably had a silver spoon in their mouth, grew up in a privileged upbringing. Rugby league's usually played for more of a working class community here in the UK. So, yeah, I like both sports, but certainly I like AFL more, if that answers the question. Because that's what's probably going to get lured to anyway, so I've just beat you to the next question. Dylan. Thank you, mate. Let me see what I can do. Move these drawers over. Now, testing, 1, 2, 3. All that kind of shit. Fergus, yeah. What Dylan said. Yeah, so tell me now, is it any better? I've moved the mic in front of me. It's at a bit of an angle. I don't want to talk directly into it. So, lucky sports such as soccer bore me because you can go whole games. No, I appreciate that. But in my opinion, I prefer sports being low scoring games. If I would have my choice, I would prefer that because a goal, one goal, that kind of way. It took me a while, maybe the first few weeks, to actually get into the scoring system in the AFL. Now I absolutely love it. But when you were getting 6 points for a goal, I thought to myself at the time, this is a bit much, isn't it? You fucking score a goal through the posts and you're getting 6 points and you're getting one for it behind. There was just so many ways. Even if you shank one, you were getting points. And I thought, I don't know if I like this. But the game grew on me very, very quickly, and I absolutely love it. But in soccer, I take your point there. A lot of games can be stalemate, and it can be 0-0s. You can get 0-0s, but I still maintain the fact that when it gets called the beautiful game, I think it is the beautiful game. But there's so many things other than the goal scoring system that you've mentioned there that I would like to get rid of, and I've mentioned it in so many videos. What really pisses me off about football, soccer here or all over Europe, all over the world, the play acting is disgusting. It's fucking cheating. They roll around the ground. They're conning the referee. They're conning everyone. They're embarrassing themselves. It's something I would love to see stamped out of the game. Because let's face it, when you're getting paid £300,000 a week, you shouldn't be throwing yourself on the floor trying to con anyone. You should be that good, getting that much money a week. You should be able to go past players and score goals. You should be that good. You shouldn't have to cheat. What I was going to say, somebody's mentioned, personally, I feel like soccer just moves too slow. Yeah, well, I take your points. It's just what you're used to. I mean, I've grew up with it, so it's a case of it's the sport that I fell in love with first. And I've went to hundreds of games of soccer. I'll continue to go to soccer games. And as I say, I do still believe it's the beautiful game in terms of the way it's played. The speed wise, I certainly can see the speed of the AFL and the ground they've got to cover. They're absolute athletes and they're sprinting for a lot of the time they're on the field. But in terms of technique and skill that you're seeing in soccer, the passing with the feet on the ball on the ground, they're passing it across the field to each other, they're taking it down on the chest. Technically, it's absolutely phenomenal spectacle to watch when you get it played the right way. Not every game you're going to watch is going to be like that. You're going to get times where you're going to have teams defending for their lives, 10 men behind the ball, and it can be very, very negative and really ugly to watch at times. So yeah, I do definitely take your opinions. I agree with you in certain aspects to that, but I still stand by the beautiful side of it because I think it really is when you get proper teams playing against each other that want to go out there and play the game for the way it is meant to be played. I think it's a special thing to watch sometimes. Soccer players are bitches. What I think, yeah, but the cheating side of it, yep, it's like what I say. I think the play acting, the cheating has got to go. There's so much of that now. I think you see a lot of players coming from South America. They want to win at all costs. They'll do anything to win. It's not just South Americans. It's definitely in Europe as well. But I think in Britain was probably like Scotland and England were probably one of the last countries to adopt this sort of play acting and cheating. We still pride ourselves in playing hard and playing fair. Although I think with the influx of continental players in England and the money they're getting, you're starting to see a lot more play acting in the English Premier League. It's not as often you see it in Scotland. It does happen. It does happen. There's embarrassing moments in Scotland too, but we still pride ourselves in big tackles. And injuries can be had, and I take on board again AFL, rugby, NHL, NFL. All these games are way more physical and dangerous to play. But I know that the likelihood of injuries in soccer, football, is very, very high. If you think sliding in the studs up on a wet surface on your knees and your ankles, they can only go one way with a wrong tackle and you're breaking legs. So you can really, really hurt people in soccer as well. You really can. But in terms of like big hits, it's nowhere close to the sports you're mentioning there. I understand what you're saying. I'm not digging a hole or anything, but there is still big tackles can be had in soccer if it's played fair and right. But the way they've done so many rule changes, they're trying to eradicate dangerous tackles, so you can't go in with the studs shown anymore. You can't go over the top of the ball. You can't go two-footed. And the reason being, and you're going to see it in AFL in the next 10, 15 years, you're going to see it watered down. You're going to see it in rugby. You're going to see it in NFL. You're going to see it in every single contact sport. And the reason being, the more professional the sports get, the more money they get, the more sponsors are putting into the game, the more commercial revenue that's coming into the game and the players are getting, clubs simply can't afford to have reckless challenges. That's why fighting and punching's out of the game, because it's reckless, it's crazy. As much as I enjoy seeing it, if somebody gets injured due to something reckless and they're out for a while, there's going to be everybody on their case. Why have you let this happen? The governing bodies, the clubs are going to get a whole lot of pressure for certain things to happen and change within the game. So you're going to see every contact sport getting watered down over the next 15, 20 years. As time goes on, they'll get watered down, and that is down to money. They cannot risk your best players on the field of play. If you've got somebody so clumsy that he's just out there just to hit people, a big, aggressive, defensive player that can just hit people, they pride themselves in the hit. And you've got somebody that's so skillful, can turn it on, he can play out in the pocket in the AFL, go around the man and score a goal, but this defender just comes in and just smashes him. And he's doing this time and time again every week. He's taking the best players out and possibly injuring them. The sponsors are going to soon be putting pressure on the governing bodies of the sport to stop these hits. making the shoulder. I would no doubt AFL will look into that in the next few years, the way they change things. Rugby league's already done it. You could never really shoulder ram folk anyway in rugby. It's been outlawed for a long, long time. I think it'll get done in the NFL as well. It's a dangerous thing to do. As great as it is to watch big hits, pressure will be put on from the people with the money, and the changes will happen whether we like it or not. We like contact sports, we like men's sports like that, where you leave it all out there on the field. Any gripe you've got with a player, you leave it out there on the field. You've got so many minutes to empty someone. You're just not going to be able to do that in the next while. And I believe that's why you've seen such a transformation in soccer, football here, over the course of the last 20, 30 years, because there was big hard bastards in soccer years ago. We wouldn't have said boo to them. Let's be honest, some of them are really, really hard. I can think of so many off the top of my head. Hard men that have played the sport. You don't really get these sorts of people in the sport anymore, and it's for good reason. Football doesn't want them. The sponsorships don't want them. You're getting guys getting £350,000 a week. They're getting all these sponsorship deals with Nike and Adidas. They're not going to want to risk giving Messi this bumper sponsorship deal and have somebody like Roy Keane running around just kicking him, putting the studs through his knees, and trying to break his legs. They're just going to get rid of people like Roy Keane because that's all they can do. All they can do really is hit the best players, let them know they're there, put a marker down while Messi can dribble. Fans want to see the entertainer. As much as people love seeing big tackles, big hits, aggressive players, sponsorships and supporters would rather see somebody with skill going around creating magic. So that's just my view on it. I think contact sports, you look at the AFL, certainly with rugby as well now, they're getting more and more and more money. AFL's investing, getting a lot of sponsorships. Players are getting good salaries out in the AFL now. When that money goes up, some of them are getting close to $1 million a year. That starts to go over that, then you're going to start getting pressure for the big wigs at the top to start looking into rule changes in terms of tackling, hits, legal ways you can do stuff, certain times that you can hit somebody when you can't. All these things are going to be looked into. There's no doubt about that. I've already seen it so many times on social media, only the short time that I've followed this sport, about them trying to change the game. For me, it's not for the better. It's certainly for the worse trying to change the game. But money talks, and it will have the final say at the end of it all. In my opinion, that's how it will work. Just going through that. That's that video downloaded there from what I've done. Bring back Big Duncan Ferguson. So you know what I'm talking about, Dylan. We did have them. Even you like Alan Shearer was a tough player as well. You like Newcastle, but players like Roy Keane, you're just not going to get them anymore. Vinnie Jones, the game has evolved and it doesn't want that sort of player anymore. I'm not saying they weren't good players, because they were good players, but they don't want that type of player. They want to see the pretty stuff now. They want to see the on-the-ground football with the ball being passed about lovely. People doing lovely technical stuff. And they just don't want to see the biffs, as you would call it. Thanks very much, Russell, mate. Appreciate that. RJ7, I'm obsessed with the AFL as a sport. I hope it doesn't change. And in relation to what we've just been talking about, I hope these things don't change. I do think it will change, but I hope it's later rather than sooner, because let's just keep it the way it is. If we could even go back a little bit, I would like that. The era that I've grew up in, and the way that the sort of football I liked here, the sort of types of sports that I like. I would love to have seen it maybe 10 years prior, maybe even before the turn of the new millennium, back in the 90s and 80s. I would have loved watching the AFL back then. I think it would have been a lot more physical affair and more technical as well. I think you're right. A lot of people don't like the man, but Wacko Jacko had a point when he says there's a lot of robots running around nowadays. And the players back in the day they played a lot more, I think, with this than they did with their speed. It's very, very tactical nowadays as well. It's very, very tactical. You can see what they're doing. Even for a kind of a novice to the sport like me, I can see what's happening all over the football field. But there was just the old school, get it up the field to your big forward and he'll take the mark and he'll bring other players in and around him. Big ruckman as well. Classy midfielders. I think you've got great midfielders today, but are they anywhere near as good as the midfielders you had years ago? I think not. I'm going to mention one name and one name only. When it comes to AFL, VFL, Australian rules football, and you talk about midfielders, you'll search long and hard to find a player even close in this modern game to Lee Matthews. Lee Matthews, for me, for a midfielder, for the goals he scored, is simply the best. Simply the best. I cannot see past the man. I've seen a lot of players now. I watch, even when I'm not doing videos, I'm watching old players. I'm watching stuff they used to do. Compilations people's put together. There's so many players that you can look at and go, wow, I wish they were playing today. If they had that ability mixed with the same sort of nutritionalists, recovery that they've got today, same sort of fitness coaches, all these sorts of sports scientists in the modern game mixed with that technical ability, they would piss all over the football today. How many set shots from 35 metres do you see missed today? How many would Jason Dunstall and Tony Plugger Lockett, Gary Ablett Sr. missed? Not many. They would have fucking cleaned up in this game. Gary Ablett Sr. at taking marks. It's a stuff of fucking beauty. It's poetic. It's fucking God. Gary Ablett Sr. God. Fucking hell. Yeah. Tom, mate, I agree with you. They will ban the shoulder charge before too long. It's a very dangerous challenge. I love to see it. I absolutely love seeing somebody getting smashed with the shoulder. But the potential for broken necks, head injuries, spinal injuries, etc., with a hit like that is very high. And the money these players are receiving these days, clubs simply can't afford to lose them for the money they're receiving. They can't afford to be paying them those wages for them to be sitting on the sidelines injured. And if it's down to these sort of caveman type challenges, they'll get rid of it. And they'll get rid of it soon, I reckon. I think you're right. It was... they all had a smoke at half time. I'm sure they had pints as well. Yeah, Dylan, mate, I agree with you. There's so many things I like about the modern game as well. I think, like what you said there, you've disagreed. I'm just going to read that one out. You disagree. The players are way better now. They didn't have taggers like in yesteryear, nor the endurance. It's a fairly valid point, but that's what I was saying as well. I would take on board what you were saying because the names that I mentioned, if you'd brought them in and gave them the modern day technology, the sports science that goes into turning these guys into the athletes that they are today, if these older players had these sorts of things available to them, let's bear in mind they were probably drinking straight after a game, probably even the day before a game. Somebody says smoking at half time, etc. So, like, they probably ate chippies, they were eating all the wrong foods, drinking and not giving a fuck, basically playing hard, partying hard, just work hard, play hard type mentality back in the day. You simply wouldn't get away with that nowadays. So if they had that raw talent, I think their talent is greater. I disagree with your comment on that, but I agree with what you're saying. But if you could mix those two from the older players, getting this sort of things available to them with the right guys, you've got to bear in mind the psychologists, the sports psychologists back in the day, they probably weren't even in the clubs, but they're all in the clubs now. Even for simple things like set shots, I've seen it in rugby when they're kicking for the conversion, kicking penalties in rugby. There's a psychology to this. it's studied, it's a proven system. They wouldn't have had that back in the day. They just simply went off raw talent and technique, and they could teach a thing or two to these modern players. They panic under pressure. A lot of them, you can see it. You can see it going through on them in the live games. So many of them are flapping before they take the shot because of the crowds. I think the crowds are probably quieter than what they were back in the day as well. I'd imagine the volume, it was probably a lot more alcohol in the stands, a lot more of everything. Passion in the stands as well back in the day than it is in the modern world. So that would have certainly been a pressure. Although, all this being said, the game's a lot more televised now, so they're probably being watched by a hell of a lot more people than they were overall. But actually, in the stands at that moment in time, so many times, for me personally, when I stepped up and kicked the shin, I thought, okay, I can see this isn't easy. This is pretty hard. But these guys are getting like the best part of £350,000 now a year, or $350,000, sorry, a year. You would think their kicking drills would be on point, and that goes for any player. The only time that I would say is if it's a back and they're coming up really late on in the game, they're fatigued, they're getting tired, they've went all the way up the field, they've took a mark, and they've got a chance to score a goal, and they miss. There's certain factors that I could say, right, fair enough, you can let them off. But time and time again, in 2019, this year, I've seen so many straightforward shots missed, straight in front of the sticks, 35 metres out, and it's beggars belief. There were so many players back in the day would have been fucking shaking their heads and disgust some of the shots that you're seeing today. So certainly for raw talent, I still stand by my point. But yeah, I mean, if that's what you're into, I mean, when you see how good Ronaldo and Messi are in soccer, they're fitter than they're looking after their bodies way better than players like Maradona, George Best, Pele would have done. They're athletes. I can't say that those guys back in the day were athletes. There's no denying they would have been fit. Could you call them athletes? I'm not too sure. But for raw talent, they were certainly up there. You could argue that Maradona, Best, Pele were all better than Ronaldo, technically. But what that guy's achieved from desire, work rate, the way he looks after his body, the ultimate professional he is, he's light years ahead of them. So there's certain aspects to modern sport that blow yesteryear away, absolutely blow it away. But I can't see past the older stuff. Maybe the game's evolved. You're right what you're saying. Just reading a few comments here. Nice comment, mate. I don't know how to pronounce that. Othraria. I don't know how to pronounce it, mate. Gosh, baby. Saying hello. It is a possession sport now. Nobody talks possession in AFL better than Richmond Tigers of 2019. I think they're incredible at what they do, and they've just leapfrogged, through the game into some sort of tiki-taka type game now that you're seeing. The passing games I've seen this incredible shorthand hand passing game. Yeah, what she said. And I know it's quite ugly. It is quite ugly. I prefer the modern game the way it's played. But just talking about the points that we're mentioning, the kicking and taking marks, and mentioning the guy's name again, Gary Ablett Sr., taking marks. My Lord. Like, sometimes Route 1, direct footy, is going to be better. It's going to be better. You look at GWS, they play that game very well with their big, tall forwards. They hump the ball up and the big men get it. It still gets played by a lot of clubs today, the direct game. Not everybody's playing this ultimate football that you're seeing Richmond playing. But it's so effective. Direct, sometimes just hump it up. And why should they leave the forward 50? That's your job. You're a forward. Get up there. There is a lot of running these days. Forwards are nearly the first line of defence as well. You're seeing it. I can see it on the field when I'm watching it. Them tracking back, and then they're having to run huge distances to get back up. Sometimes opening the field up, you'd like to see a little bit more. Players staying in position a little bit more and rely on their defenders to do a fucking job. But the game is evolving that much, and players have worked out different ways and systems, and teams are tactical, and they can break all those sorts of direct styles down. You can grind it down. So yeah, totally. Thanks very much. Jessica, nice comment. I'm coming in 2021, Josh, mate. Thanks very much. Tom, you're right. Tigers are pretty to watch. It is sexy football. There's no doubt about that. Maradona will be always remembered for the hand of God. No doubt about that. No. Thanks, Dylan, mate. I'd imagine you can. I appreciate that comment, because when I'm watching games, soccer games live here in the stadium, you can see so much that you're not going to get capture on the TV. What the part of the field that's not being watched, you're seeing players moving into space. You know, there's no doubt. I agree with you so much when you're talking about the game evolving. It's evolved in certain aspects for the better and declined in others. Maybe it's down to money. I don't know why they're changing certain things. I do not know, but I would say it probably is down to money. Wexford. Am I anywhere near Wexford? I'm in Northern Ireland. I think Wexford's down south somewhere. I've never been, mate. It really has, mate. So, you want to go back downstairs? No? Right. So I'm going to call this stream to an end now. I've got a couple of things I need to do. I'm going to get to try and edit in that video. Stay tuned for that. I'm really excited about launching this mini-series. I think it's going to be... It'll probably take a while for it to take off, but I'm really excited about it because it's voted for by the subscribers. So the top 5, I'll certainly be the face of it, and I'll probably take the abuse that comes with picking the top 5. I've already had it. How have you not got this guy in the list? Why is he in the list? Look, this is voted for by the subscribers, viewers, followers of the channels. If you didn't agree with them, you had your chance to put those names in. If you've missed your chance, I apologise, but it was open for about a week. So these names have been picked by you all, and I'm more than happy to take the abuse that comes with it. But the 5 players that have made the list thoroughly deserve to be on the list. Would they be my 5? Possibly not. But can I see why the top 5 are picked the way they are? 100%. So it's really exciting. Can't wait to launch it. I hope you all enjoy it. And what's the video about? My top 5 mini-series is about sports. So every sport. First of all, the first episode is AFL. It's not AFL, actually. It's Australian rules football from the beginnings. Best player ever. Top 5. So 5th all the way down to 1st. Or all the way up to 1st even, as voted for by you, the subscribers and viewers of the channel. We've got our top 5, and they're going to be putting up 5 greatest players of all time. And I've already recorded the video of my stuff. I'm going to add to the video a lot more things when I'm editing it. So I'll either get it up today or tomorrow. I'm really excited for it. I hope you'll enjoy it. It'll be interesting to hear your thoughts, so do comment on the video. If you don't agree, I can't do anything about it, but you'll certainly agree with the fact that the players are exceptional football players, regardless of the order that they're in. Thanks very much for watching. I really enjoy the live streams, getting to chat to you all. Yeah, something's popped up. I really enjoy chatting to you all and keeping in with the AFL chat. It's a long time from the footy's been on, isn't it? We're almost there, though. We're almost there before the pre-season starts, which is quite good. I'm lucky enough. I'm not having to watch much cricket. So I'm getting my soccer here. I'm enjoying it. Somebody mentioned the Old Firm games on Rangers Celtic Sunday, so I'll be looking forward to that. Hopefully we can get the win for a change. And as I say, thanks very much. Hope you all had a great Christmas as well. We had a good Christmas. Didn't we? Did you have a good Christmas? Yeah, good girl. You want to say bye to everyone? Bye everyone. Bye everyone. Who are you? Boss Baby. Bye from Boss Baby. Say it. Bye. Bye from Boss Baby. You're going shy. No way. Go the Rangers. Come on, the Rangers. Cheers, mate. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you all soon. I'll talk to you all later. And Dylan, lay off the hand cream, mate. You're embarrassing yourself.